Hi, I'm Marshall. I'm the owner of Going Gear. This is the quick and dirty review of the different versions of the Eagletac MX25L3C. Alright, here I have a couple versions of the MX25L3C from Eagletac. I have the kit version of the Nichia 219 and I have the non-kit version of the XP-G2. I'll talk a little bit later about what the kit versus non-kit means. But a couple things that you'll notice is that the kit, you get a rear switch. The side switch and the rear switch do the same thing, same interface and everything, but it's kind of nice to have that rear switch when it's dark. It's a lot easier to find than a side switch, although that one's not that hard to find because it's nice and raised. Got some good machining that helps you find it. But you also get a stainless steel bezel, which is nice that it helps protect from impact, but you can also thread it off and then attach filters. So red, yellow, blue, green, and then a diffuser filter. So those come with the kit, not with the non-kit. Just a note, you cannot upgrade from the non-kit to the kit. For one, you can see that it does not have that threaded bezel on there, so the filters wouldn't work. And then also there's an internal part that makes this rear switch work that the non-kit does not have. So just keep that in mind. If you want the kit, get it up front because you can't upgrade from one to the other. And we don't sell the parts separately anyway. Let's talk about some basic specs between the two. I'm going to have to look at the user manual because all these numbers are kind of hard for me to remember. So 6 Cree XP-G2 LEDs. You get 1.6 hours of runtime on the highest output, down to 350 hours on the lowest. On the Nichia 219, you're looking at 1.4 hours down to 350 hours. And then for output levels, you're at 1,810 ANSI lumens on the 219, and then 2,450 on the XP-G2. 3 18650s, 6 CR123s will power both of these. Alright, let's take a little bit closer look at these things. Really similar in appearance. Obviously the kit versus non-kit, you're going to notice a difference, but if you just had two non-kit or two kit, you're not really going to notice a huge difference between the two unless you look really closely at the LEDs. So they both have the 6 LEDs. Each LED has its own reflector, nice lens on there, nice glass lens. Physically the bodies are the same. You see same even markings and everything, you know, they don't differentiate in the markings between the two different versions. Turn it around, there you can see the rear switch that you get with the kit version versus the non-switch, and this tail cap actually does come with the kit version as well, so if you want to use the rear switch, you don't have to use it. There's the lanyard attachment point in case you want to use the lanyard. Talk about the other stuff that comes with it on that note. So you get a lanyard. You get these battery holders, so if you want to use the 2 CR123s that kind of keep things from rattling around, and you get some spare O-rings, and this comes with both. You also get a holster with the kit version, so nice rigid holster that holds it in there really well. Okay, let's talk about the interface on these. So powered by 3 18650s or 6 CR123s. I talk a lot about the difference between the two, so watch my other videos if you want to see that. But I've got 3 18650s in both of these right now. I always recommend those for most people unless you're going to be storing it for a long time. Again, rear switch, side switch, both do the same thing. If you tap it, it'll turn the light on. Tap it again to turn the light off. You also have momentary. So if you press and hold for it's about a half second or a second or more, then you get momentary. If you have it turned on or off and do a press and then press and hold, it'll go right to strobe, and you can do that from any output, any mode. Kind of a nice feature in there that you can always get to strobe. You also have some other outputs. So if you loosen the head, it'll cycle between your different outputs. So right now I have it in what's called the tactical mode. I put this in the tactical mode for the longer video. If you want to see the extended review of how to get into the tactical mode and switch between the tactical and the regular, watch the extended review because it's a little bit kind of complicated. But you have two different mode groups. So you have the tactical mode, which you saw has 2 different outputs, and then the 2 strobes, and then the regular has 4 different outputs. So this is what it comes default from the factory. You just loosen the head, it'll cycle between those 4 different output levels. Again, you have access to strobe from any of those, and you also have some flashing modes. And the way to get into those, you can only get into them from the regular group. You can't get into them from the tactical group. Is to have the head tightened and to go between it and the 3rd or 4th output, and just keep on doing that, and it'll cycle through all the different ones. So you have different strobes and flashing modes and beacon flashing and all kinds of stuff that you can choose. Alright, so there you go. That is the interface of the MX25L3C. We're going to go ahead and take both of these outside and we'll show you how they do outside. Alright, we're outside with the 2 Eagletac MX25L3C versions. We're going to go ahead and try out the XP-G2 version first. there it is. Whole lot of light coming out of this thing, and just so you can see, it really is this light putting out all those lumens. Pretty impressive for such a compact light. You know, you got all those LEDs combining to form that nice big hot spot there in the center, and then the spill where it transitions out to the dimmer part. Still very usable spill. Dockhouse down there is 100 feet away, and it's still a usable amount of light. Show you what it looks like on the lower outputs. Then on the lowest, still a very usable amount of light, especially for up close kind of stuff when you need the better battery life. Okay, let's try the Nichia 219 version. Got it tucked under my arm. Alright, there we go. So there is the Nichia 219 version. Different color temperature. I personally prefer this. I really like the way greens and browns look a little more green and brown, but lower output on this. So you have to decide what's best for your purposes. There's the different outputs, and again, the low is great for up close kind of stuff. So crank that back up, and then let's try them side by side. So we'll have the 219 on the left, XP-G2 on the right, kind of shining back and forth so you can quickly see the difference between the two. Alright, so there you go. Those are the Eagletac MX25L3C lights. If you like them, you can buy them from us at goinggear.com. If you want to see a much more in-depth version of this video where we talk about the filters and go out to a longer distance and all that kind of stuff, check out the link in the description, and we'll give more demonstrations of everything. Thanks for watching.